right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Blend Blazers with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. And today I'm really excited to have this man of God with us today. I'm going to say that, man of God, business man of God with us today. All right, so you guys know I have plenty of friends that are in ministry, and, you know, everybody's trying to do their thing, and everybody wants to be the next TD Jakes or Creflo Dollar. But a lot of my friends struggle with being successful naturally in matters of business. So you know me, I have to go find an expert who does this kind of stuff, who talks about this kind of stuff. And this gentleman I have been watching for quite a while on social media, and this seems to be his lane. So I want to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Marc Coley. How are you doing today, sir?
I am well. Thank you for having me, sir. You definitely gave me a church intro. It's what they always say, introduce to some, present to others.
It's the apostolic. Yes. I can't even, look at it, speaking tongues. It's been one of those weeks. So I'm just saying.
Thank you for having me. My name is Marc Coley. I am a business coach, to some a prophet, to some.
See, he tried to shine on me like I just call that out like he ain't got all these titles and things.
I mean, I don't really go by all of them. I mainly just go by business coach. I just keep it simple until people encounter me, and then it's like, oh, you different, So that's who I am. A former, I used to be in the military, so I'm a veteran now. Did the Navy for about 8 years. I did 8 years. I've been an entrepreneur since 2008, before I even knew what the word entrepreneur meant. Actually, I'm just now coming to know what that word means within the last probably maybe 6 or 7 years, because it's become so popular. But I just always knew I was a visionary. Always knew I wanted to have a business and do something big with my life. So that's who I am.
I've never seen pictures of you in the military on your social media.
Yeah,
that is new. That is new.
Purposeful. I even when I was in the military, a lot of people didn't know I was in the military because I only presented my entrepreneur side. So it was and every now and then I would pop up with a picture. They're like, "Wait, you in the Navy?" Yes, I am. I'm full active duty. It's not even weekend warrior. I'm a full active duty serviceman. So yeah, I did that for 8 years.
How old are you now?
I am 33.
God, you still. Well, I can't call you a baby. I'm 42, so I can't really call you a baby. But you're not quite fully grown, so you're like half baked. We'll say half baked. You're right in the middle, in the early 30s. Yes. Okay, early 30s.
Yes.
All right. So how did you get into this space of kind of and like I said, I'll go off what I've seen.
Okay.
So you're kind of in this space where you really help people, and we say it all the time. Those that know I'm apostolic, but I've been Baptist, and we say it all the time that using the natural to navigate. Using the spiritual to navigate the natural.
Right.
And you seem to be able to do that because you do like a 5 a.m. call, which shouts out to everybody in your movement because I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock. Jesus, I love you, but you know how you created me, and I'm just not a more early bird. But y'all be up at 5 o'clock in the morning praying and talk to me about that. How did you get into this space?
It's so interesting. I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you are, I guess, a first generation entrepreneur, you don't have a really lot of examples of what business and entrepreneurship looks like. I've probably done everything under the sun. I had a t-shirt company. I had a mail carrier company. I had a marketing company. I've had so many LLCs under my name. And then ultimately I got to maybe 2019 and realized that I'm really passionate about coaching entrepreneurs. And so I started what's called the Marc Coley Business Academy, one, because I wanted a place where I could talk about the things that I thought were missing in the marketplace. I remember having a conversation. I love listening to different books. So at any given time, I'll have a book about psychology. I'll have a book about prophetic. I'll have a book about business development. I'll have a book about writing sales copy. I'll have a book about all of them and be reading all of them at the same time. And I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was like, yo, I was making connections between what science was saying and what the spiritual books were saying. I was like, oh, this all makes sense. So when scripture says this is what it means, and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, Coley, that makes so much sense. She said, but where are you going to teach this at? And I said, I don't know. I said, because this is too spiritual for the world, and this is too practical for the church. You know,
Facts.
so it was this in between space that I was in. I was like, I don't know where, because nobody's gonna call me to speak about prophetic and all this kind of stuff at a business conference. And at a prophetic conference, they may say it's business, but it's going to be very spiritualized. And so when I started TMCBA, the Marc Coley Business Academy, I was like, this is the place that I get to do it. I get to be whatever I want to be. And so that's how I got ultimately into this space. I started something a few years ago called Power 5, which was just a precursor to what I'm doing now. So that's where I believe my prophetic gift came from, that I'm sometimes years ahead of my actual assignment, and sometimes it's just a practice. So that's where I'm at now. I love to do it. I've been doing it for a while, so yeah, that's who I am.
What are some of the big, and I'm going to start here, which I normally wouldn't, but I'm going to start here. What are some of the biggest issues that you find from new members to your organization?
Mindset. It's always mindset. Always mindset. It's always mindset, honestly. And I know that just sounds really redundant, and I actually just talked about this Monday, but it's just like this. Everybody is ready for the strategy of making money, but don't realize that you can't put a new strategy in an old mindset. And so while I can teach strategy all day long and say, hey, this is how you sell this is how you set up a website, this is how you get your logo, which a lot of people have accomplished that. Everybody has a logo, everybody has a brand, everybody's done a photo shoot. So we've checked off those basic spots of what we deem to be successful as business owners. But why aren't you making any money in your business? Why is your business still not successful? And it's because you have not expanded your mindset to say that you're even capable of making money. And that's why you struggle in making money. There were times in my business where when people were paying me, I felt guilty. Like, I'm not supposed to be getting paid. I haven't worked hard enough. So we come from these different mindsets that says money earned always has to be earned in a difficult manner. And so when I get in my entrepreneurs in my community, I let them know, yes, some of the money you earn is going to be hard, but some of it's going to come with ease. Wealth, according to scripture, says that the blessing of the Lord make it rich and addeth no sorrow. So why do you feel like you always got to experience sorrow in order to experience wealth?
All right, I want you to expound upon that post that you put up the other day, because you made it very plain. I was like, now, if y'all can't catch this,
and some people still didn't get it.
Are you kidding me? I mean, it was laid out so beautifully. Yeah. And what he was talking about was why it's hard. And I'm going to simplify. Mm-hmm. Why is it so hard for church folks to be successful in natural business? That was kind of what the post revolved around. So go into that for me.
Yeah, so I felt this need mainly because I don't think he will mind, but I had a gentleman that is going to be working with me on a project, and I kept hitting him up saying, hey, what's your fee? What's your fee? And he didn't give me an answer. It wasn't never a direct answer. Very gifted in his prophetic gift. So I'm bringing him into a more of a business structured setting. And so I just kept asking him, and he finally gave me an answer after several days of me responding back. And I'm thinking to myself, I've never taken this long to respond to somebody about, what they're going to pay me.
You.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to shortchange him. I'm making sure, I'm very integral when it comes to business. And so he finally responds back with some lowball amount. And I said, are you serious? Are you serious? And then he says, well, whatever you want to give me. I said, what?
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, your gift is very accurate. It's very powerful. You've labored in this, if you will, trained in this, if you will, endured to be able to do what you do. First of all, why would you shortchange yourself? So and he said, and I told him, here's what I'm going to give you minimum. I told him what I was going to give him, and it was exceeded what he put out there. And that got me to thinking. I said, a lot of people experience this because I've experienced this as well. And so I started to ask myself, why did I experience that? What were the thoughts and what were the conversations that led me to have this deep-seated belief around being successful outside of church? And I can remember being almost penalized at one time because I wanted to be paid for being the drummer at my church.
Oh, and that started a controversy.
It was a big one because it was a family church, and yeah, shout out to my family. I love y'all. This is just the truth. It was a family church.
I had nothing to do with this. This is all him. I had nothing to do with this.
I mean, it's what happened. It's honestly what happened. We've all grown past it now, but it was a big deal at that time. I was learning how to be a drummer in my local church, which is a family church. It was a small church, and you understand small
I know.
church. Everybody is everything, until you get somebody that's more. And so I'm literally being taught and learning as I go. And my pastor at the time was like, "Hey, we should pay you. We'll give you a little something." And it wasn't a lot, but it was just in my mind. I'm like, "Okay, this is perfect." I was gonna do it anyway. But now that you want to compensate me, oh, great. And it was such a commotion around me receiving pay because it was said that I should be here to support only. Now, I get it. I understand where that side came from. But what that started to build inside of me was that my skill set does not deserve to be compensated. And so you have a lot of people in church who feel this guilt if they say, yes, I can do this, pastor. Yes, I can do this, mother. Yes, I can do this, prophet. But I do have a price that's associated with that. And we're almost afraid to tell people that because it's almost shunned like, this is for the Lord.
And that's the running line.
This is for the Lord. And yeah, I get this is for the Lord. But also, when I get ready to pay my bills, what am I going to tell the company?
You're supposed to speak in tongues. You know this, Mark. You're supposed to speak in tongues.
Exactly. You're supposed to wait for a miracle. No, the miracle was for me to develop this skill set, which was deserving to be paid. That was the miracle. That was the gift. If Scripture says that I will give you the ability to gain wealth, what is the ability? The ability is my gifting that I have. And so, let's say this part. If I am in church and I do make a decision that I want my gift to solely be used to build this house, that's perfectly fine. Pastor, I stand behind you. I'll do this for free. I understand the vision. I understand the mission. I'm good on the outside. But the thing is, what I've seen is that a lot of entrepreneurs that emerge from church can't separate the two. So if I did have that idea in church, when I go into the business world, we have the same idea. And so now you're doing graphics for $10. Now you're doing public speaking for y'all just give me what you can. No, don't just give me what you can. This is the price that I've set. You don't go to the doctor and say, okay. Can I just give you whatever I have? No, it's structure around pay. And so if you don't want to pay $100 to eat at Ruth Chris, then you don't go to Ruth Chris. You go to Outback, And so I'm in this place now where I understand where that thought process came from. And so now I feel as a leader, it's up to me to put it out there to say, this is why you think like that. Because a lot of entrepreneurs that emerge from church just think they're very generous. Oh, I just want to be a blessing, Doc. Mm-hmm. No, you don't want to be a blessing because when you get home, you're crying and you're struggling. And now you got to spend all night in your war closet praying for a bill to be paid, which you could have got compensated for. And now your time in prayer is now being time spent pleading that you get a miracle for a bill. And when they finally call you and say, hey, we've extended your grace period, now you hop on Facebook saying that's a testimony. The testimony was not that your grace period got extended. Your testimony should have been, I did what I knew I could do and I got compensated for it and I paid my bills on time and I didn't need a grace period.
I feel like I should pass a collection plate
like
that.
Pass it.
I feel like I should pass a collection plate.
Pass it. That was a miracle.
I'm glad you said that because I've been saying that for a hot minute. Yeah. Especially when I switched denominations and was like, whoa. Yeah. So this is how y'all do it on this side over here that people are traveling 3 states over to preach for you and you're giving them $20. Wow. And it's okay. Yeah. It's not okay because now I'm having to put money in the car to drive Pastor home when I didn't account for that because you guys, brought her out of here and didn't compensate her for a gift. Wow. So how do you get past the guilt? How do you teach your people to get past the guilt?
It's been a lot of mindset. As I said earlier, it's mindset. Scripture talks about this. It says, like I said, I talked about this Monday on my my prophetic business class. Scripture says this. It says that you don't put new wine in old wineskin. So essentially what it was saying was that when you put wine into a new wineskin, it has space to expand. But if you put new wine in old wineskin that has already expanded, it's going to be wasted. So instead of teaching entrepreneurs a strategy to make money, I make sure that they have the capacity or either the mindset to make money because I can give you step 1, step 2, and step 3, which is going to equal $300 a day. And you can say, okay, all I need is one customer times this, that's your strategy. That's the wine. But if I'm about to place that strategy into an old wineskin, old mindset that says I'm not entitled to that, this is not hard enough. Lauryn Hill said it could all be so simple, but you rather make it hard. So in other words, my strategy is wasted in this old mindset. And so I start with, we just got done with the book called Cybernetics, which has changed my life. And I've read that book so many times because it deals with why we think the way we think, why we move the way we move. And a lot of this stuff is just stuff that's been deeply rooted in us. And we don't even realize that from the ages of children that we've heard certain things. And you hear these things over and over and over again. And so what starts to happen in your brain is neural pathways are built. And it's just like a trail I'm a country boy. So it's just like a trail. And once so many times that trail has been traveled back and forth, it starts to stand out. So I can go back home right now and find a trail that I used to walk on as a kid. Why? Because I traveled along that trail so many times. So when you start to think about something over and over and over again, it's like you're chewing on it. A trail is built in your brain. So now, even though you're 50 years old, that trail that happened 20 years ago is still present. And now that I'm saying, hey, you know what? That gift you have, you can make $10,000 a day. That trail that says you can't because it's wrong and you're supposed to be guilty is still so powerful that it wakes up even when in the midst of strategy and says, no, you can't do that. And so that's why you find a lot of people that always feel like they're on the brink of success and never get there, because it's like literally when you're about to jump out, it's like, I know I got the gift. I know I got the skill set. I know I can do it. It's like something grabs you. That trail grabs you, that neural pathway that was built. And so that's why scripture says that we bring down things that have been, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and high thoughts and high places. That's what it's referring to. You get it? So that's the connection between psychology and scripture. They're not competing. They're actually collaborating together. So I start with the mindset. What do you believe about yourself? I get entrepreneurs on the call and I'll tell them, I want you to say this out loud. I charge $10,000 for my service, and I don't want you to blink. I don't want you to look away. I want you to look me dead in the eye and say it. And it's hard for people to say that because they don't believe it.
Okay, so in that space, how big of a factor is lack of confidence?
It's a major, you can't sell anything you're not confident about. I don't care. Confidence is more than just a nice picture. It's an emotion that you give off. Like, I can tell somebody confidence because you can tell if somebody walk in this room right now if they're confident or not. You can tell how they carry themselves, how they look. If they look you lit in the eye, are they shaking? Are they nervous? You can tell when somebody owns the room. And so I start at that foundation. How can you sell me something that you're not sure of yourself? I don't. If you're not sure of it and you made it, I definitely don't want to buy it. If you're not sure this book can change my life and you're charging me $10, and no, I don't want it. You're not sure. Listen, you're not sure if this shirt you're selling, you're not sure that it's going to help me look better. I don't want it because you're not sure. If I'm selling anything, I need to be confident in it. But the confidence starts with the inner work first.
No, I was gonna say, so how do you offset that? Like, is it reading more books? Is it spending more time in your prayer closet? Like,
I think it's being around people that's gonna push you out of that space and start to dig to the root of the issues. I had a gentleman in my class, and one of his fears was to sell $1 million properties because he had never sold it before. So you may look at the surface and say, well, it's just a confidence issue. It wasn't a confidence issue. I had him along with several others. I said, I want you to write an apology to yourself for something that you've been holding against yourself. I get to him. He's like, I don't have anything. Then he pauses, and he finally starts to openly speak, and he says, I apologize for losing my home and selling real estate out of an apartment, and I could have kept my home, but I was too prideful to reach out to my family, even though they could have helped me. And and he started crying.
Wow.
Next week he gets on the call, like, I have a praise report. It says, not only do I have a offer on $1 million property, I have an offer on 2 of them. And the difference was that he liberated himself from that past hurt. So it wasn't necessarily a confidence issue because he had confidence in selling real estate. He didn't have confidence in selling $1 million properties because to him, I've never done this before, so I'm not adequate enough. And the feeling of not being adequate didn't stem from confidence. It stemmed from him not forgiving himself for making that mistake years ago.
Wow.
So getting to the root of why you feel the way you feel is the work. I tell people all the time, this business stuff is easy. I can give anybody a business strategy. All right, do this, do this, do this. But it's that you that we got to deal with. That's the part. That's what you're going to constantly be working through is you. Business is very, very simple. I can take something right now. I can get this book right here, read it, and say, I want to sell this to you for $20. And all I need to do is convince you that it's valuable, that it's going to give you an end result, have a way to accept your payment, and boom, that's a business. Now I just duplicate the process. Okay, let me get that wholesale, buy it at a lower cost, multiply how many people do I need to sell it to? All right, I need to sell it to 10 people to make this amount a day. How much do I? It's a math formula. But once again, if I take that strategy and put it into an old mindset, it's pointless. It's like putting gas in a car that doesn't go. Yes, the gas is good. The car doesn't go though.
It's all very true.
Mm-hmm.
So you deal with men and women.
Yes.
Have you seen significant differences? Because you primarily deal with African Americans, primarily.
Yes.
Have you seen significant differences between women, how women operate and men operate? Or is it about the same?
I'll say it's about the same as far as emotional scars that men and women deal with. Men may be able to mask them better. Women are more in touch with their emotions and what caused the scar, and you can get to the root of it quicker. Men, you got to work around the ego and the pride and the masculinity sometimes, which holds up the real work of the soul. So with women, I often see greater results quicker. But if my guys stick around long enough, then they're going to get the same results. It just takes longer. I had a gentleman on the call. Well, he's still a part of my community. And you guys forgive me. I'm not saying any names, so don't be like, he get on this and just does not. But he got on the call, and I remember we were going through some exercises, and he said, the reason that I speak the way I speak is because when I was a kid, I was told that I talk like a girl. So he downplayed his personality to make it very monotone, very masculine, and so he talks very slow and it's like he's very thought out when he talks. It has no personality. And I told him one day, I said, I can't wait to see the real you because you've never even encountered the real you. And as he's been in this community, I'm seeing new aspects of his personality that he has suppressed that in actuality will assist him in business because it allows people to connect to him more. But because he's so focused on, am I sounding masculine enough so that I won't get, remember I talked about earlier, that trail. So every time he goes to exude his real personality, that neural pathway of what he experienced years ago comes back to play to say, hey, you can't talk like that. That's how a girl talks. That's how this, so getting past all of that is the work that I actually enjoy the most. This business, I love talking about business too. I love giving them new strategies and stuff, but I love the ahas of, wow, I'm finally free. Now I will say this about women. My women are always more dedicated, more consistent. I don't know if it's just a woman thing, but I have women. My call is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have women in Texas that get up with kids, literally holding the baby on the call, taking notes, and
Wow.
Gotta go get them ready for school. It's all of that, and I'm always like, yeah, y'all just different. Y'all different. Y'all hungry. Cause a hungry person gonna eat. And when you're hungry and when one of my former students, she got on the call this morning. She came back as a guest expert. She does taxes and giving us some strategies. And I remember when she first got on the call, she said, my next level is in you. And sure enough, she meant every word of it because she left her job. She now makes money year round. Like she charges her worth. She just told us this morning that she's getting a new office space, but she showed up. She was committed. She was dedicated. She was consistent. Everything that I told her to do, if it didn't even make sense, she's like, I'm going to do it. So that's what I see as far as men and women.
All right, so let's segue to you.
Okay.
So I remember last year, you told a story, and like I said, I've been watching you for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember you told a story like last year of how you got to the places you wanted to get financially, only
Yeah.
to get there and realize this ain't it.
Yeah,
Like this
it wasn't
ain't
giving
it.
nothing. Yeah.
It's not giving what it's supposed to be
Yes,
giving.
it wasn't.
Talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like entrepreneurship is one of those interesting things in life that really unveils deeper levels of you. And I was chasing, just like most entrepreneurs, a six-figure dream. And I can remember a time where I wasn't even aware of six figures. I just knew that I wanted to do things that I love. And so you get in this culture of social media, and everybody six-figure this, six-figure this, six-figure that. I mean, I even have it on my banner, helping entrepreneurs, six-figure businesses with spirituality. So it's just one of those words where it's like, somebody decided that six figure is the mark of success in entrepreneurship, so it's like this milestone that we all are chasing to solidify our worth and our value. And so last year I found myself chasing that. Literally every other month I'm like, okay, I need roll this many, the strategy, right? Okay, this many people, this many, okay, this many, and then I'll have. And what I realized is that it was just me chasing somebody else's goals. It wasn't even my goal, which at the end of the year made me feel really, really silly, if you will. I'm like, I don't even live a lifestyle that requires me to make six figures. I'm not knocking it if I make it, if I don't, or whoever, if I make seven figures. I don't live a rich, fancy lifestyle. I'm really simple. And so I was like, okay, Mark, well, what was the purpose of chasing that? And I realized it was because I wanted to be accepted by, I guess, peers. I guess that was my badge of honor. And so last year I decided I lowered all of my financial goals. I was like, what's the bare minimum that I can live off of? I got that number. Then I said, okay, how much do I need to live a little bit more comfortable than that? I got that number. And now I'm just hitting that with ease because I'm not caught up in it. I'm not even thinking about it. I'll literally look at how much money I made per month. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. And just carry on with my life. Last year, it was totally different. Like I was working myself like a slave for a number, and God finally came to me and was like, this ain't what you even want. Why you running after this? And so now I understand when I don't want something or there's this obsession with it, it comes to me with ease. Because I don't want it. I'm not chasing it. And so when I'm just happy in my gift and my assignment, I promise money flows to me. I'm like, oh, I just got that. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, thanks. And so I know that I'm going to exceed every goal that I've set even in the past, now that I have not even set them as goals because I'm not stressed anymore about it. So my thing to entrepreneurs now is decide what you want your finances to look like, not what social media has deemed it should look like. What are you comfortable living with?
Okay.
Because everybody needs different amount of money. If you got 10 kids, you may six figures may not be enough for you.
10 kids.
Exactly. If you got an expensive lifestyle, my point is do what works for you, not what works for me or anybody else. What works for you? Maybe to you, $50,000 is a beautiful lifestyle. Well, pursue that. That's just my thinking.
How important is it for significant others? Because I remember last year you also came out with that, and I remember you had a whole post about how that went.
Listen, I just been a little just stirring.
I mean, you every week I'm like, let me see what he up to, because there's always something good. Let me see what this is up to. But you hit that. Do you want to get into that?
Oh, we can get into anything. We can get into it.
I know that people have spouses.
We can get into some things. We get into some things.
Well, I didn't think about it. And then when I saw your post about it and how it kind of changed the face of the spaces that you were in when you came out that you have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? How did you recalibrate from that?
It was nerve-wracking to make that post. And I decided, because I had a lot of things, I guess, as everybody, your excuse is, I have a lot of things to lose. A brand, what if people leave my organization? Okay, I have this prophetic prayer call. What if people leave that?
Because it is spiritual.
Spiritual, yeah. And so I decided, I said, who's more important, them or him? And I decided he was, because he's in my corner when nobody else is. He is my support system. And I dare not minimize his significance in my life to appease you. And so that was a hard truth that I had to walk in, and also understanding that I am not going to make everybody happy. And that was in itself liberating, because I think most of us spend most of our time in our lives making sure that we check off the box. Okay, is my sister happy with me, or is my best friend happy with me? And I have to realize somebody's gonna get left behind in their happiness pursuit. I gotta make sure that I'm happy first, because if I'm not happy, then what's the point of my life? What's the significance? Like, am I sent here just to appease everybody else? And when I die, is God gonna say, hey, did you make everybody else happy around you with your decisions, or did you live a fulfilled life that I tell you to live? So I made the post, and I was scared. I'm not going to say I just did it and boom. I was very scared. The next day I woke up, and it was a Monday. I have my prophetic prayer calls on Monday, and I was like, is anybody going to show up? People showed up. I was so nervous. I kid you not. Now, let me also say the back part of this. I did have people leave my organization. I did have people. I just talked to one of my students now. And she said, Mark, somebody rubbed me the wrong way. She's like, I invited her to the prayer call, and she texted me while y'all was on the prayer call, and she said, is he a little sweet? And my student, she didn't get it. She was like, yeah, he's sweet. Oh Lord. Like he's so, he's sweet. This is my coach. I love him. He's so nice. And it is. She said the person hit her back, like, is he speaking in tongues? And then it finally clicked to it. And I think the person she invited, finally, I just clicked off and never got back on. But my student is telling me, yeah, her life is in shambles and this and that. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I said I had to understand a long time ago, I'm not for everybody. I'm just not. Some people cannot look past my sexuality. And I'm also not here to defend anything. I'm not here to change your mind. Everybody wants to debate scripture. Well, show me the scripture, what you believe. Why? You don't believe it. It'll be a waste of time to argue with you. Some people want to argue for the sake of just argue. I don't have that type of energy. Are you open to hearing my perspective? If you're not, then what's the point? So I had to study the scripture and find solitude in what I understood and what I believed to be true. And once I did that, I was good. I don't have to convince nobody else, because if I'm not mistaken, everybody preaches it's a personal relationship with God. So it's personal. It's just me and him. This is our business. So my worst fears were people leaving. They left. My worst fears were people not inviting me to places. They didn't. And I'm still here. And I've also realized that I was so afraid not to be invited to church functions because my mind was not able to see outside of the church. And I've been invited several places that have not been church places or functions. And I told somebody the other day, I said, I didn't have to raise an offering. I didn't have to say this is $100 line. I didn't say the Lord is saying that there's the 5 of you in here that can give $1,000. No, the check was already made out to me before I even got there. And you know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that I'm like, God, thank you for opening my eyes to see that me living authentic will never close doors, but only open bigger ones. And so sometimes as emerging entrepreneurs, and this has more to do with than just sexuality. Sometimes you think church is your only marketplace because that's your only ecosystem, not realizing there are billions of people in this world who need what you have, and you limited yourself to one specific community that most of the time don't even have money. That's no shade against the church, but most of the time they don't have money. And so because if truth be told, if we get up in church and we preach about a financial blessings about to come through, the whole church is going to be up shouting. That means that you don't have any money, because I can go to another church that is not black and say that, and it doesn't move them because they already got their financial blessing.
Facts. All facts. All right. So I like your journey because it's been so many pivots that I've watched you shift through. So
Jesus.
So you've done two. Like the cardinal rule is don't come out.
Yeah.
The cardinal rule is kind of follow suit and do what you do, get the 6 figures, and live your life. And then you did a third one. Actually, I think it's a fourth, but we'll go to the third one.
Tired of pivoting.
But you're so good at it. Like you're so good at it. So as an entrepreneur, one of the cardinal rules is not to go back to work.
Yes.
You're not. If you go back to work, you're deemed a failure.
Yes.
And God didn't speak to you and things of that magnitude. And you did that. How did that happen?
How did that happen? So last year I went. So this was on the heels of me really being burnt out. Really, I guess the low place in entrepreneurship. Because I was just like, I didn't meet my financial goal. I didn't make six figures. I even posted how much I made. I'm very transparent. I think I did last year. I made $66,000 last year in my business alone. And that was, I think altogether, I probably made like 80,000. That's my business was 66, and I think I had some other income that come in that wasn't business related. So it's probably like 80-something thousand. I remember Terrence saying, so you were depressed because you made $80,000? I said, this was after it. I was like, yeah, I understand. That was so stupid. So stupid. And if you saw me last year, like I did whatever I wanted to do. Like I wasn't lacking anything. I was depressed on sabbatical in Mexico on the beach, you know.
How do you be depressed on the beach?
Exactly. And so it wasn't until I had this revelation to understand you tripping. You really are tripping. Like, you're on the beach, you know, crying, and I didn't make six figures. Like, what? Like, you know, but it's because I had this certain mindset that this is the goal, and I didn't make it. I'm a failure. And so I went on sabbatical. My worst fears came true once again. People were leaving my organization because I wasn't there. You know, I had, you know, some of my leaders in my organization. I had them step in for me, and they were doing classes. But ultimately, I know people were there for me. You know, so it was such a dark place because every other day I felt like I was getting an email saying, hey, Mark, I know you're on sabbatical. I hate to leave, but I'm just not feeling like I'm getting my money's worth. So I'm going to cancel my membership. And so you had all of my streams of income were dwindling. In December, after getting back from the beach, I decided to go start Ubering. So here I am in a new BMW Ubering. People like, this is the nicest Uber I've ever been in. I think
in his defense, we've all done Uber at some point because it's the go-to for entrepreneurs.
It is.
I don't have to be bothered with folks. I do it when I want to.
Exactly.
I've been there. I've been there.
Baby, I Ubered for my life. You know, like I was out Ubering. You know, like it actually got fun to me. You know, so I was getting good tips because I'm not just a regular. Like I turned anything to a business. I had water in the bag. I had peanuts. I had what was New Year's, I was like, let me go buy some Red Bull and stuff. I had all that back. It was nice. And people getting in, okay, what's your playlist? You know, I'm just the whole experience. I was getting some good tips. And I realized I had a talk with Terrence, and I was like, I think I need to go back to work. He's like, what? You know, like, because who wants to go back to work, like, when you're able to sustain yourself not working? I was like, I miss being around people. I said, I miss just the regular day-to-day things. Like, I miss being in traffic and complaining about it. I miss listening to my audiobooks while I'm headed to work. I miss that excitement when you finally get to clock out, like, it's time to get off. You know, I miss weekends feeling like weekends, because they don't feel like weekends when you're the entrepreneur.
They run into each other.
Just like, this another day. Mm-hmm. And so now going back to work, now I'm very honest. When I first started back work, I was like, after that first few weeks and the first check, I'm like, okay, I'm over this. I said, baby, I called Terrence. I said, baby, they want me to work at work. Like,
I think you posted that too. Yes, I was like, wow.
And I was so serious, like, oh, y'all want me to work? Like, I just came here to socialize.
Like, I need the check, but I don't need the check. I just wanted some friendly faces.
I just wanted friends. Like, and so if you know me, you know I'm just honest. So I told the manager, she's young. I said, hey, can I come talk to you? I said, yeah, this is a lot. I said, I was thinking in training when y'all was talking about, like, you know, having movies on and different things. I was thinking like I was gonna have a lot of downtime. I was like, I be busy.
Did you say this to her?
I did.
Oh
I really
my
did.
gosh.
And she said, yeah, I understand. I was like, yeah, it's really, I said, so I'm a business owner, and I said, I'm not here for money. Now, that's not to say I don't, spend my check. I'm going to spend it, of course. I said, but I'm not here for financial gain. I'm here for interaction, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I completely understand that. I said, so with that being said, I'm going to have to take Wednesdays off, so I take every Wednesday. I'm here today. It's Wednesday. I take Wednesdays off because that's the only way that I can balance everything that I have going on. Now, I said that to say, initially I was like, yeah, this ain't working for me. But now that I look back 4 months later, I'm like, I was proud of myself because I'm like, I'm still doing it. Wow. Like, look at me, working. But I realized this is what I want to share with entrepreneurs, is that I am now more focused on my business than I have been in the past maybe 3 years. And I was not able to pinpoint why my creativity had decreased, why all of that had went away. And I said, and how I talked to God, I was like, God, when I was in the Army, when I was in the Navy, I was so focused. I got off work and I would come home and I'll spend all my time working on business and so excited for the weekend to come. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do content. I was like, God, what happened? I was like, I have more time. I have all the time in the world to work on my business now, and I'm not doing anything. I'm depressed. And I realized that I have to be a part of things. My personality, I have to be a part of things outside of myself in order to inspire what I have going on. It's weird, but that's how I'm wired. So now that I have a 9-to-5 that takes my mind away from my business, while I'm at work, I'm thinking about my business. So then now my time with my business is more valued because I know that I have to go to work. And so understanding what you need is such a game changer, because I don't have to check in with anybody to say, does this make sense? It may not make sense to you, because you may spend all your time at home in your business, having fun, doing your thug thizzle. But for me, if you just give me all of this at one time, it's not going to be exciting. But if I have it in bits and pieces, now it's a passion again. Let me just give you the psychology of that. If I give you a piece of my Reese, it's 2 Reese's in a pack, I give you one. Isn't it always like that one that somebody else gives you is so amazing? Like, oh, dang, man, you ain't got another one I can get? And it's like, okay, I'm going to go buy my own. You go buy your own Reese, and it's like, it don't taste like the one you just gave me. That one was more... It's precious. It was more just like, did you do something to it? And the psychology is you understood that was very limited. And so something made you cherish that moment even more. Even your taste buds, they began to enhance, because you like, I may not get another piece of this. It's like when your mama give you a piece of her chicken or something. You're like, oh, this is the best chicken I've ever had. You go fix you a plate, and it's like, well, this ain't the same. And so it for me, and I notice the word I use, for me, I need to be a part of something else outside of myself. So for me, it's like somebody giving me my business and saying, this is that one piece of Reese. You ain't gonna get another piece. And so now I savor it. Now when I'm at work, I'll have a thought about something like, oh, I can do that in my business. Let me write that down real quick. Yes, ma'am, I'm still here with you. Yeah, so it's exciting again. It's because it's limited. But that works for me. It may not work for the next person. So I don't know at what point that I may evolve and no longer need that. But what I've decided with myself in my pursuit of liberation is that life changes, I evolve, and I need things differently in different seasons. So giving myself permission to evolve has been the most liberating thing, because I'm not going to allow you to trap me in a season, and I'm not going to trap myself in a season. And what I mean by that is, well, didn't you say you need to work? Now here you go saying you want full time. Okay, yeah. Now I need something else. And so we live our lives making sure that everybody else, once again, is happy. Are you happy? What about, okay, I don't need this anymore. So you're going to be in bondage because you no longer need something anymore, but you got to stay there because you told people you needed 5 months ago. No, I needed water 5 months ago. Now I need Kool-Aid. I could change. Like, can we? Is there a law that you cannot change your mind?
Not the Kool-Aid, though. Not the Kool-Aid,
or
though.
sweet tea. Give me some sweet tea. I want something different. Then I'm gonna go back to water.
Well, when you put that post, it was funny because I had been doing pretty much the same thing you did,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, you trying to do some other things.
Yeah.
You need to go back to work.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, wait, what? And my friend was like, you going back to work? I was like, yeah, I'm going back to work. And now it's like, it was a half of me needed it. Because
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, I remember this space.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this space is so much fun. And the other half was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but you should have stayed out because
Yeah.
this is annoying.
This is too much.
And
Yeah.
exactly,
I
this
understand.
is too much.
Trust me, I understand. But balancing it all is beautiful. If you can balance it, I say do it. So I'm gonna do this as long as possible. And because I'm in a space where they know what I have going on because I was up front, when I have to speak somewhere, I just go, hey, I'm not coming in today. Okay, cool. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know, I'm not getting terminated. Well, they haven't said they're going to terminate me. But, you know, we are in the great, what they call it? The
At
great,
will.
Yes. But no, so many jobs are hiring, so I'm not even pressed that if I
Facts.
lose that, I mean,
Facts.
baby, you could be working tomorrow somewhere. So
Literally.
I'm good. You know, I just know that I need to be a part of things outside of myself to keep me occupied mentally and mentally stimulated and all of that, so that allows me to show up in my business more creative.
How did that conversation go when you shared that with your people?
I was afraid at first too, because I was like, wait, I'm coaching them, so they're going to think I'm struggling, and they're going to say, well, why am I paying you? You got to go back to work. And when
That was kind of my, I was like, oh,
yeah,
I want to see how this plays out because that's,
Listen,
you know how fickle people can be. So it's like,
okay, well, you supposed to be goals, and I'm working trying to go full time. But when I tell you, because I'm so transparent with my community, some of them decided to get a job.
seriously?
Yes, some of them decided to go. I had a student in Canada. She just actually left the call because her schedule no longer permits her because of work. And I told her, I was sad, you know, of course, she's been with me almost a year, but I typically have students for about a year. And when I said that on the call, she was like, wow, Mark, so I can go back to work? I don't have to be over here like, because her business model was kind of seasonal. So sometimes, you know, money would flow in. But that's any business. And she would be stressed and overwhelmed and not being able to pay her bills because she's not supposed to go back to work. This is the dream. You're supposed to endure it. And so when I liberated her by saying, I'm doing this, she was like, oh, okay, I can go back. And she got a job, and a great job at that. And so my people are okay. You know, they were actually counting down the days that I'm going to quit, because I used to be like, yeah, I'm tired. Like, you know, but now that I have this balance of Wednesday, I'm so good now. I am so good. I can do it, because Monday and Tuesday I was like, okay, I'm gonna grind it out Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday I'm gonna get the rest, catch up on my business stuff, chat with friends, do whatever I need to do for my business. Thursday and Friday gonna be chill. I'm gonna be working from home, and the job is a hybrid job, so in the office 2 days, at home 2 days.
Oh,
so,
yeah, that works.
perfect. So
That
I'll
works.
be all on my computer. I'm working over here. Hey, get a call. Hey, yeah, thank you for calling this company. Blah blah blah. Let me put you on a brief hold. I'll be right with you. All right, let me see. Just living my best life. Just getting all kind of checks.
All right, so we're down to our last couple of minutes.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest myths over your journey that you can dispel definitively for entrepreneurs? Because I said, at this point, I'm deeming you the king of pivots.
Oh,
so I'm deeming you
listen.
that because you have masterfully recovered and gone through so many things that
Yeah.
are typically death for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest life lesson that I would say is that you have permission to evolve, become as many times as you need to. So I remember somebody even referencing this job. They said it in a sarcastic way. They was like, yeah, because I know in a few months you'll be talking about you've evolved to something else. And I said, and will?
Facts.
I didn't, you know, like old me would have been like, are you coming for me? Like what you trying to say?
Secretly they were.
Yeah,
I mean, secretly they were.
They were. And it's almost like you were saying that I'm unstable, but I'm like, I remember Lauryn Hill saying this on her Unplugged album. It was like, we all are unstable. This FYI, this is everybody's first time doing life.
Facts.
Everybody.
Facts.
Everybody, this is your first time here. This is not your third life. This is your first. So we all are unstable in some sort. That's why your marriage didn't work out, because you're unstable. That's why you left that. That's why you changed career path. We're all unstable. We're all figuring it out. So giving myself that permission is one of those myths that I want to dispel. Like, you can evolve as many times as you want to. There is no law. There is no penalty. There is no nothing. It's life, evolution. Deal with it. The next thing that I would dispel is that you don't have to be a cookie cutter copy of anybody. The more that I embrace and lean into who Marc is, the more that I am liberated, the more that I'm happy, and the more that I am paid. So as I fall in love with me, even the parts of me that I used to hide, because I used to be like, I can only be serious because I'm talking about business. But that's not all of my personality. My personality is also jokes. I'll literally be on a prayer call. I'll just get done talk shekandadabasa and then tell a joke because that's me. You know what I'm saying? And so when you don't see yourself in public, you often think that you have to conform to what you see, not understanding that you may be the mold for somebody else, So that's another myth. Just be you. Like, we hear it so much, but we don't practice it. We always, I want to be this person because they are successful, but they're successful because they are themselves. You got the same gift. True. Be you. Lizzo is right here twerking for big girls because
literally
she's being
half
herself.
naked, like just living her best life.
Lil Nas X, like, these are people who said, I want to be my authentic self, and you're going to take notice. You're going to pay me for it. People who, I teach my students this all the time. If you're in a crowd of people and everybody is running left and you decide to run right, the focus goes from the people to you. Why? Because everybody wants to know, why are you running away? What's different? Why are you? And so while we're trying to stay in the herd for safety, actually the blessing is leaving.
Okay, Minister Coley.
All right.
Okay, Minister Coley. Just going to throw that out there. All right, so now last couple of minutes, explain your school for those that may be interested.
Yes, it's called TMCBA, the Marc Coley Business Academy. We have morning acceleration class Monday through Wednesday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. I require the lights to be on. I require the camera to be on. I require you to be out of your beds, and I require you to have a notebook ready to learn and take notes. This is not just a motivational wake-up call like, hey. No, we actually going through
it might have to be if I'm getting at 5 o'clock. You might have to be a cheerleader. I'm just saying.
I play a little music in the first 5 minutes. And
it's gonna need to be like Luke scarred. Like, I need something that's gonna be.
Some days I take a throwback. Some days we can't in spirituals. I'm all over the place. I'm unstable, remember? And so. But we have so much fun. It's a community. We grow together. These people become family because we've seen each other every day. We have retreats. We have business challenges. We have our uniforms. I give out awards at the end of the year for Entrepreneur of the Year. It's an amazing community because it just doesn't deal with the business side. It deals with the overall entrepreneur, the spiritual, the mental, the personal development, and the business side of it. So I've recently raised my prices because I started off the year saying, okay, I'm going to lower the prices because I want everybody to be a part of it. And I started realizing cheap prices attract cheap people.
It might have was you that I saw that on. I was like, that is so true.
Yeah, cheap prices attract cheap people. That's why, no shade, no tea, but that's why Dollar General is in certain places. That's why Family Dollar, because it is targeted to a cheaper demographic of people. So I understand that if I want excellent people who are committed to this program, because I know that it's transformational, I got to raise the price, not because I want to necessarily keep people out, but I want to bring you up. And so if you're willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to eat out for the rest of this month. I'm not going to get my nails done. I'm not going to get my hair done. I'm a stack up because I need this. Then you're the type of person I need in my organization because I know you're going to show up Monday through Wednesday. You're going to be there bright and early. You ain't going to have no excuses. But when I have it as 47, it's just like Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness don't call nobody and say, hey, we haven't seen you in 2 years. Just keep that money coming, right?
Which reminds me, they get $10 out of me every month, and I don't ever go.
They didn't call you? They didn't call you and said they haven't seen you because they don't care.
That's true.
Yeah. So their business model is, let's bring in everybody that can, $10 ain't nothing to you. And that's why you never cancel, because that's just $10, it's not killing me. And so I don't want people that's just, it's just $47. I'll show up when I want to. I said, no, I'm raising this price. And so that even if that means that only 5 people enroll per month or 5 people enroll per year, I don't care. Them 5 people are going to get the transformation of their lives, and they going to go tell 5 more, and they going to bring in 5 more quality people. And so it is what it is. So yeah, hit me up on social media if you want more information, reviews. I got content that shows my as they say, receipts. I got receipts. I got.
He's very consistent. I'm very big on social media. He's very consistent with his social media.
I got receipts. And I'm just now being okay with showing my receipts, because I used to just keep it to myself, like, oh, that's what's up. I was like, no, people need to know like all these wins that I'm helping people experience, because this is my business. You know, I'm not doing it to be rich, like I said, but it is what it is. Like if you got something that's changing lives, you just it is what it is. I'm just changing lives out here. Little Harriet Tubman of my time.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, on that note, final thoughts. Any final thoughts you want to leave with the people?
Final thoughts is fall in love with yourself, pursue life on your terms, and go big. It's you only get one shot at this, and have fun at it.
All right, everybody. So there we have it. It's as amazing as I thought it was going to be. I'm inspired because, like I said, I follow your posts, and sometimes I'm like, wow, he's doing exactly what I was thinking about doing, especially that job thing. I was like, so I'm not the only nut that missed actually being in the workplace. Like, I actually missed it. It was 2 years. So I was keep doing what you're doing. You never know who's paying attention to what you're doing. So thank you to Mr. Marc Coley for being with us today.
Thank you.
We will see you guys next time. Just keep an eye on the website, ricecommunity.com. Remember, that's Rice with a W. And we will see you same time, same place on the Blend Blazers podcast with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.